Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to my literary club. Today I'm going to explain Ode to the West Wind by P.B. Shelley. So let's start our poem. P.B. Shelley from 1792 to 1822 was an English romantic poet known for his radical ideas, lyrical poetry, and advocacy for the political and social change. We'll see this desire, this wish in this very poem also. His famous works include Ozymandias, Ode to the West Wind, and To a Skylark. Married to Mary Shelley, the Frankenstein, a novel, was written by Mary Shelley. He died in a very young age by drowning accident, but remains one of the greatest poets of the Romantic era. This poem was written in 1819 and published in 1820. This is a lyrical poem which reflects the Shelley's admiration for nature's power and especially the power of the west wind. Okay, this poem is structured in five cantos. The poem is response to the deep personal and political struggles, using west wind as a symbol of change, revolution, and renewal. Okay, Shelley hopes that his poem will awaken the world to the new ideas, and the west wind will spread the his ideas to the world as it spread the leaves in the autumn. Let's start with stanza number one. O wild west wind, thou breath of autumn's being. Now, in the very first line and in the very first word, Shelley uses a literary device of apostrophe. Apostrophe is a literary device where a writer or speaker directly address an absent person or an abstract concept or an inanimate object as if they are present. Here, Shelley is directly addressing to the west wind as if it is capable of responding. So that's an example of apostrophe. And he's saying that the breath of autumn's being. He's saying that you are the life force of the season of autumn. What? The west wind. The wind that come from the western area, and that is very harsh wind, considered a very harsh wind in the autumn season. Though from whose unseen presence the leaves dead are dreaming. Now we all know that we cannot see the wind, we can only feel its presence. So that's why he's saying unseen presence, because we could not see, but we can only feel the presence. How we can feel that that dead leaves are driven with the help of that wind. So he's saying that the west wind is invisible yet very powerful, like ghost from an incanter fleeing. Now he's comparing a west wind with ghosts. That's an example of simile. Simile is a literary device that is a comparison between two unlike things using the words like or as. So this like ghost is an example of simile, and he's saying that as ghosts are invisible, and they enchant some person and they use the magic to exercise their power, and they are invisible yet powerful. Same, the west wind is invisible and powerful. Okay, so he's giving us a very eerie and supernatural mystical power of the west wind. Yellow and black and pale and hectic red. He's giving us the colors. He's saying that these autumn leaves are of different colors. They are multicolored. They're yellow, red, black, and hectic red is used for the person who is red due to fever. So he's saying that the leaves are some kind of have some kind of disease, and this yellow, black, pale is an example of imagery. Imagery is a literary device that poet uses creates an image in front of the readers with the use of the descriptive language. So Shelley is creating an image of the leaves on the ground of different colors in autumn colors. So that's an example of imagery. And he's saying pestilence-stricken multitudes. Now, this pestilence-stricken is a disease, epidemic disease, and he's saying that the leaves are of different colors and they are looking like they have some kind of disease. Okay, O thou who chariotest to their dark wintry bed the winged seed. Now he's talk again using apostrophe, and he's talking to the west wind, and he's saying that you drive the dead leaves to their beds, to their wintry beds, because wind takes away the leaves and the seeds to some other places. due to its wind. And so he's saying that you perform this job, and this winged seed, I'll show you the winged seeds. Everybody must have seen this kind of seeds in their lives, and the seeds with this fire kind of thing, and they are flying in the. So this is an example of winged seed, because these seeds fly with the west wind or with any other wind, and they travel and from their present plant to some other beds. So that's the job of the west wind, where they lie cold and low. Now he's saying that the seeds travel from their parent plants to some other place, to the some other ground, and there they lie cold and low, and it's like a corpse within its grave. So he's again using the literary device of simile when he compares seeds with corpses by using the word like, and he says that right now the seeds are cold and they are lifeless, but they have potential to regrow, to rebirth. But right now, due to winter, due to autumn, they don't have this chance to start their new life at some other place. They will have when, until the azure sister of the spring shall blow, until the spring will arise, and then they will have chance to regrow. So he's giving us some natural cycle where destruction leads to the rebirth, to the renewal. And this quality, when he's saying that autumn have some kind of sibling, the spring, so that's an example of personification. Personification is a literary device to give human qualities to the non-human things, animals, or abstract ideas. Her clarion or the dreaming bird. Now, this clarion is a musical instrument. I'll show you it. This is clarion. So he's saying that when spring will arise, the spring will play some kind of clarion to the dreaming world, to the earth. The earth is will be sleeping before spring, and then spring will blow the clarion, and it will awaken the earth and fill driving sweet birds like flocks to feed in air. The sweet birds, new flowers, every new field in the air, as they are some group of birds are flying in the air. Okay, so this their sweet smell will spread in the air with living hues and odors plain and hill, and fill with living hues and odors plain and hill. So he's saying that when spring will arise, so the whole world, plain and hills and everything, will be full of hues, full of colors, and full of fragrances when spring will come. Now he's back to his West Wind, wild spirit. He's calling West Wind the wild spirit, and again using that literary device of apostrophe, which art moving everywhere. Now he's giving him the quality of personification, and he's saying that the best wind is omnipresent, it's everywhere, destroyer and preserver. Now this is very important. He's calling west wind the destroyer and preserver at the same time. Why? Because the west wind destroy because it the leaf sheds in the autumn due to the west wind, and it and the leaves it blow the leaves from one place to the other, so it's destroy, but also it's a preserver. How? Because it helps the seeds to travel from one place to the other, so then other place would also have the new life. Okay, and also these dead leaves act like fertilization for the rebirth. So west wind is the destroyer and preserver at the same time, and this here, oh here, now he's giving us plea, some kind of plea, and he gave us the whole imagery of the power of the west wind on the earth in this whole canto, and the power of the wind on earth, and at the end he's calling, requesting to the wind. Now in the second stanza he'll give us the power of the wind on the sky. Thou on whose streams mid the steep sky's commotion. Here he is using the literary device of metaphor. Metaphor is a literary device that compares two opposite things by stating this, that one is another without using the words like and as. So here he is comparing west wind with a stream. He's saying that west wind is somehow a stream, kind of a stream, and it mid the steep sky's commotion, loose clouds like earth's decaying leaves are shed. He's saying that in the noisy disturbance of the sky, the commotion of the sky. The west wind spread the clouds here and there. The west wind scattered the clouds of storm in the sky as it scattered the dead leaves in the storm and on the earth, shook from the tangled boughs of heaven and earth. Now this wind, the west wind, is so strong that it shakes the clouds free from the sky and from the sea that seem entwined in the heaven and ocean. So he's giving us a beautiful imagery and uh, also this example of simile, clouds like earth decaying leaves. So although he's giving us just the power of the west wind, angels of rain and lightning. Now again another example of metaphor, he's comparing the storm clouds with the angels of rain and lightning. They are spread on the blue surface of time airy surge. Now he's saying that the angels, the clouds of storm, spread on the blue surface on the sky. Airy surge in a very powerful sudden movement. So the clouds spread on the sky in a very powerful sudden movement, like the bright hair uplifted from the head of some fire's Maenad. Now this Maenad is a female follower of the Bacchus. Uh, Now, if any of you have read Ode to the Nightingale, there the kids discussed the Bacchus. Bacchus was the god of wine, and this Maenad was the female follower of that Bacchus, and she had long white hair, and so he's giving us the illusion of that Maenad. Allusion is a literary device that is an indirect or brief reference to the person, place, event, or literary work, often from history, mythology, religion, culture. So here Shelley is saying that clouds of storm spread everywhere as the white hair of that minute, it spread everywhere, even from the dim verge of the horizon to the zenith height. Now he's saying that from the storm stretches from the horizon to the zenith. Okay, and this is dim. Why this is dim? Because due to cloud and storm, the Shelley could not see it properly, so that's dim. But this storm clouds spread everywhere, the logs of the approaching storm. So he's giving that the storm is approaching. Thou dirge of the dying year. Now we can see that when Shelley is writing this poem, he's writing this poem at the 31st December of the year of any year, because he's saying that the dying year and this is the closing night. This night is the last night of this year, to which this now, so he's saying that though thou diest of the dying year, that the west wind is lamenting or the death of this year, to which this closing night will be the doom of a vast sepulchre vaulted with all thy congregated might of vapors. He is comparing the closing night, the night sky, to the giant tomb. Okay, this was sepulchre, and he's suggesting that the nature is burying the past year beneath this night or beneath this autumn wind. So he's giving us a very grand image of the natural cycle, and vaulted with all thy congregated might of vapors. That's the storm. This cloud of storm filled with uh, full of vapors. This congregated might means the collective power of the storm, and it is full of vapors from whose solid atmosphere. Here, solid atmosphere refers to the heavy and thick clouds that forms the storm. What storm? The black rain, fire, and hail will burst. Now he's predicting that the storm will unleash, and he's listing these destructive elements that. So he's emphasizing the power of the west wind, that you could create these kind of clouds, and at the end of this very stanza he's again requesting to the west wind to hear him. Now he's going to give us the power of west wind on the water. Thou, another example of apostrophe, who didst awaken from his summer dreams the blue Mediterranean. Now he's saying that you awake the blue Mediterranean from its sweet dreams, and he's personifying that the blue Mediterranean sea is somehow dreaming like a human being. Okay, so that's an example of personification also. And you could awake that Mediterranean sea also, where he lay lulled by the coil of his crystalline streams. Now look at the imagery he's giving us. He's saying that that Mediterranean Sea was coiled in some ringed forms. There were streams and they were shining, they were crystalline, and he was laying there very peacefully and calmly before the arrival of the west wind. Beside a Pumice Isle in Bay is an ancient town near Naples, and these Pumice Isles are those isles which islands which born due to some volcanic eruption. Okay, so he's giving us exact point, exact location where that Mediterranean Sea was sleeping, and saw in sleep old palaces and towers quivering within the waves intenser day. And he's giving us the dreams that the Mediterranean Sea was watching. In dreams, Mediterranean Sea was watching some old palaces and towers, and that those towers were also shivering because of this intensified light of the day in the water. These palaces and towers could also be the ruins of the civilization that are beneath the water right now, all overgrown with azure moss and flowers. Now, this is indicating that those civilization, those palaces and towers are submerged for so long that they are full of moss and flowers. So sweet. Now, that's also an example of imagery. The sense faints picturing them. Now that's a beautiful example of imagery that scenario is so beautiful that it overwhelms the sense. Thou for whose path the Atlantic level powers. Now he shifts from the Mediterranean Sea to the Atlantic Ocean. This level power shows the vast and controlled force of the Atlantic Ocean cleave themselves into chasms. Now, these chasms are the big holes in the ocean. I'll show you. These kind of big holes in the ocean are chasms. Now he's saying that Atlantic Ocean that is capable to create these kind of chasms, while far below the sea blooms and the oozy woods which wear the sapless foliage of the ocean. And he's saying that there is underwater forest which is sub, and these oozy woods give us imagery of submerged vegetation. And it so this whole scenario expand to some mysterious and hidden world. Okay, so he's saying that that Atlantic Ocean contain this hidden forest inside it, and know thy voice. Even that powerful Atlantic Ocean and these deep down forests know your voice and suddenly grow grey with fear and tremble and despoil themselves. Even that powerful ocean and its powerful forest tremble before the west wind's might. He's giving us the dominance of the west wind over all the elements of the earth, over the sky, and now over the water. And again, he's bleeding. Oh, here. Now, in stanza number 4, he's going to describe his wish. If I were a dead leaf, now is giving as an example of metaphor that he's comparing himself to dead leaf and also to cloud and to wave in the further lines. If I were a dead leaf, thou mightest bear. If I were a swift cloud to fly with thee, and if a wave to pant beneath thy power. So he's longing that if I could be a leaf, I could be a cloud, or I could be a wave of water, so I could travel with you, I could fly with you, I could be, I could breathe beneath your power and share the impulse of thy strength. And he's acknowledging that these leaves, waves, and clouds are free to move with you. And now, me as a human being, I'm not free, and I want to feel that power, that strength, that freedom, only less free than thou. So he's desiring for the liberation. Oh, uncontrollable now is praising the wild and untamed nature of the wind as uncontrollable. If even I were as in my boyhood, now he's recalling his childhood state. He's admiring the freedom of the wind, and he's calling his childhood state that if I were in that era and could be the comrade of thy wanderings over heaven. He's saying that at that time I was free and I was inhibited, and I was with more harmony with nature. So this is kind of a nostalgic tone, and he's saying that if I was in that era and I could wander with you, as then when to outstrip thy skies Sky speed scars seemed a vision. At that time, there was a vision for me. I could wish and I could feel capable to move as swiftly as the wind. Okay, I felt at that time that I could outstrip you. I would, but now it seems like a vision. It's only a distant dream for me now. I would never have striven. Now he's saying that if I had I was leaf, I was a cloud, I was wave, or I was in my boyhood. If I had these four things, I could never, I will never plead to you. But now I am doing, I am requesting to you. As thus with thee in prayer in my sore need. Now it directly states that now he's pleading with the wind for the strength and for the inspiration. Oh, lift me as a wave, a leaf, a cloud. We can see his desire to be free, to be free from the burdens of life. I fall upon the thorns of life, I bleed. Now this is a very deep line. He's saying that he's also giving us an example of metaphor. He's saying that I fall upon the thorns of life, the hardships, the struggles, the emotional pains of life, and due to that, I bleed. Now, this bleed conveys the anguish, that conveys the intense pain that he feels in his life. A heavy weight of ours has changed and bored one too like thee. Now he's saying that the heavy weights of time, the heavy burdens of this world have has chained and bore down or trapped uh, the person who was once like thee, who was once free and happy like thee. Okay, my spirit was once like too, tameless and swift and proud, but now these burdens of life chained me and bowed me. Now we can see the admiration for the wind, the freedom of wind, and the longingness to reclaim that freedom. Make me thy lyre. Now, this is also an example of metaphor. They say he's comparing himself to the lyre. Lyre is a musical instrument. This is the lyre, and when the wind blows through it, this creates a very beautiful and mesmerizing sounds. So he's saying that Shelley saying that turn me into your musical instrument and play in the forest, even as the forest is, because when the west wind travels through the forest, due to the leaves, due to the dry leaves, it creates a very mesmerizing music. So he's saying that as you turn the forest into your lyre, turn me also into your lyre, because he want to become the comrade of that west wind. What if my leaves are falling like its own? Now look at the despair in this line. He's acknowledging that he's decaying and he's longing to the renewal. And he's saying that he's acknowledging that the decay leads to the renewal. But right now he's saying I'm in a very despair state. My leaves are also falling as the autumn leaves. The tumult of thy mighty harmonies will take from both a deep autumnal tone, sweet though in sadness. Now he's saying that thy mighty harmonies, thy beautiful chaotic sound of wind, he makes the disorder and the beauty of that sound of that wind. He's saying that mighty harmonies have a very deep influence on me as a poet. Although it's sad, but it's a very beautiful and it's very sweet. So we can see beauty in destruction. Be thou spirit, fires be my spirit. So now he's saying, merge yourself with me. Be thou spirit, mine spirit. Okay, be thou me, become me. Okay, firstly he was saying that turn me into you. Now he's saying that become me, impetuous one. Now he's saying that wild, untamed nature. He's admiring this nature of the wind, and he implored the wind to merge with his spirit and give him the energy and the force of the wind. Drive my dead thoughts over the universe. Now he's appealing, he's requesting to the west wind to scatter his thoughts over the universe, like withered leaves to quicken a new birth, like you scattered the dry leaves of the autumn into here and there. So drive my thoughts and my words to the world, so that it could quicken the new birth, it could awaken the world. My thoughts and my poetry and my words could awaken the world. You just spread those words, and by the incantation of these words, Now he sees his words, his poetry, as some kind of magical and prophetic poetry that could have the power to bring the change. Scatter, as from an inextinguished hearth, ashes and sparks. Now he's saying that right now it's inextinguished hearth. But he believes that the inspiration and revolution never fully dies. He's saying that this poetry sparks from fire. Though his spirit feels weakened words and he's in despair right now, but his poetry contains the potential, the ashes, the sparks in the ashes, and the energy to awaken the world. My words among mankind breathe through my lips to unawakened earth. Now he's using the literary device of personification as the earth is somehow sleeping and unawakened. So he wants Wind to use his voice to awaken the world, that his voice could stir the people's consciousness. And he's saying that the poetry can be a powerful force to change the trumpet of prophecy. Now he's going to prophesy something, he's going to give us a very beautiful information, and he wants this information to convey it to the whole world. What information? Oh, wind, if winter comes, can spring be far behind? Now this is a very optimistic tone with he ends his poem is saying that winter is the symbolize death and hardships, but always followed by the spring. That is the renewal, that is the hope. So even the time of darkness, change and rebirth is an inevitable. Now this last line is an example of rhetorical question. Rhetorical question is a question asked for effect rather than to get an actual answer, often used to provoke a thought or emphasize a point. Now, this last very beautiful and optimistic line is a rhetorical question, and it is used. It is just to provoke a thought in the reader, not to have any answer. These are some of the themes of the poem. I've explained them in the poem. Power of nature, we can see the power of the west wind, the nature on the earth, on the sky, and on the waves, and also the power of the west wind to scatter his words. Change and transformation, revolution and renewal. The renewal, that if there is a lot of darkness, then the light is not far behind. Freedom and hope, that the Shelley was longing for. Hope you enjoyed watching the video. If you have any question regarding the explanation, you can ask in the comments below. Also, you can give your suggestion about next poem to explain in the comments below. Please like and share the video, subscribe my channel, and press the bell icon to get the notification of the next video.